What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Phono Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about fusion rifles, pretty much everything about them, from the best rules, the best way to play with them, what they're good for, and really how you can excel with them. We've had a lot of success using them in trials the past few weeks to counter both snipers and shotguns. They really allow you to control the map well while also kind of countering snipers and shotguns if you know how to use them properly. Originally, I wasn't going to make this video because I know it gets a lot of hate in the Destiny community for fusion rifles, specifically air intel. I just didn't really think it was necessary to make a video like this. But after I heard a lot of people aren't really comfortable using fusion rifles, and I looked at the trials charts for the most popular guns and found that no fusion rifle is even in the top 10 weapons, which I found extremely bizarre. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video covering it, what's the best now with all the changes for Season of Worthy, and just in general, what you should be looking for, and more importantly, how to play with these guns and how to be successful with them. Alright, so right off the bat, I'd say there's three main fusion rifles that are worth using in Crucible. Starting off with the one everyone knows, the Air Intel FR4. This is the one that everyone hates and knows, and it's been known for the crazy range, and we'll get into the rules as well in a minute. But besides that, there's also some other really good options, including the Wise and Rebuke. So before I had this God roll Air Intel, I used to use Wise and Rebuke all the time. You can see I have about 1,500 kills with this one, and I've just kept a couple other ones over the days. This is also a really good roll. If you don't have a good air intel and when you guys are playing Iron Banner, you guys can get the Wise and Rebuke. This gun is just as good in my opinion, and I don't really even see any major trade-offs, so I think that they can be used interchangeably. The other good option that came last season is the Bastion Exotic. That's been used in the primary option, which is great for if you have a really good secondary weapon that you like to use. A lot of people in trials have now been using it with the Summoner auto rifle that comes out of there, so that's been super powerful. Or you can use it with a hand cannon like Not Forgotten or Luna's How. As a side note, pretty much anything with a high impact frame is going to work for you, like the Gallant Charge from Season of the Dawn. But the Wise and Rebuke and the Air Intel are both very accessible and probably the best options for rolls. Alright guys, so we're going to hop over into LightGG, which is a website, for those of you who don't know, that allows you to look at all the rolls, and it kind of gives you recommendations, and it'll tell you the combinations and different stuff like that for when you're trying to find farm weapons and rolls. So we're going to look at the air intel basically, and the rolls are pretty similar across the board, except for obviously the Bastion, which is an exotic. So first thing we're going to look at is the scopes. You can see here the Flash HS5 or the Torch HS3 are definitely the best in slots. I personally would much rather have the HS5 over the Torch. The Torch has -5 handling, while the Flash has +3, so that's a trade-off of 8 handling total, and I really just don't think that the range of +3 is worth it. The Signal and Impulse also have decent stats, but the increased zoom factor of 6 and 5 makes it a little harder to acquire targets in close quarters, which is definitely a downside in my opinion. In the second slot, there's really only two options as well, the Particle Repeater and the Projection Fuse, which are seen here. In my opinion, I'd take the 10 range over the 10 stability, but the 10 stability can also be helpful in keeping your shots together. As you can see here, Liquid Coils is recommended as a PvP perk, but really I wouldn't recommend it because most of the time your fusion rifle is going to be doing plenty of damage, and that extra impact is not worth the increased charge time. Category 3 is where things really get interesting, and it really depends on your playstyle. Personally, I prefer moving target because the increased movement speed while aimed down sights really helps you land shots from out of cover while getting back to cover quickly, allowing you to stay alive between pokes. We're going to talk about this more later in the video when we cover strategy. Other good options are Under Pressure and Firmly Planted. Under Pressure is great because when you spawn into a Crucible match, you only have 2 rounds anyway, so your magazine is already low, giving you that improved stability and accuracy. Firmly Planted is also an option, and there's videos out there demonstrating how powerful it can be if you are crouched and allowing you to hit targets at insane ranges, but personally for my playstyle, I don't think it really works. Most of the time I'm moving very quickly, and a lot of times I'm even in the air, which makes this perk irrelevant. Once again, Snapshot Sights is recommended as the PvP perk, but I'd strongly discourage using this perk because the extra aim down sight speed really doesn't matter since you have to wait for the fusion to charge up anyway. Finally, we move into the last slot where we have a couple more options. Backup plan can be great and sounds good on paper, but in my opinion, the idea of being in a pinch, swapping to this weapon, and then charging it up to get a kill isn't really practical to begin with. I find that most of the time, if I'm going to use my fusion rifle, I'll already have it out and ready to go before engaging. But it can be helpful if you can manage to get it off in a tight pinch. Because of that, I wouldn't take it over some of the other perks in this category. Rampage is also great, but I find that perks like Rampage, Swashbuckler, and Kill Clip really excel in 6v6 game modes, but not as much in a 3v3 mode. In game modes like Trials of Osiris and Competitive, you're not really going to have time to get these stacks up, and there aren't enough people to kill to keep the stacks going, making this perk lower on my list as well. My personal favorite in this category is Tap the Trigger. This grants a short period of increased stability and accuracy on initial trigger pull, aka every single time you pull the trigger. This adds stability and accuracy, allowing you to keep that cone of fusion bolts very tight on every shot, increasing both your range and target acquisition. Rangefinder is also a decent perk, but I don't think it's worth taking over Tap the Trigger or Backup Plan. For the masterwork, I'd also recommend range or stability, and for my weapon mod, I usually run Icarus Grip, which allows me to land a lot of shots from in the air, but another great option is Counterbalance if you play mostly with boots on the ground. So we hopped into a private match real quick with my buddy Ghost. Big shout out to him for hooking it up. We're going to show you guys some testing as well as just some simple tips and tricks of how you should be using a fusion rifle compared to a shotgun or just any other gun in the game. So I know a lot of people have problems with the fusion rifles, especially with aiming. And when I look at some of their clips or watch them play, I noticed that they're aiming like they would a normal gun, either at the head or at the chest, which really is not what you want to be doing. With a fusion rifle, it bursts straight up, right? And you need to land as many of those bursts as you can. So I'm constantly aiming like at the kneecap level or even the feet, depending on the range. So up close, you can obviously just aim for the chest and you'll get a fine kill because the burst isn't that high. But when you're further at range, you definitely are going to want to be aiming at the feet. So as the burst goes out, it comes up his body. If I aim the burst here, not going to kill him. But if I aim at his feet, it'll burst right up and more shots will hit. Now, after the nerfs this season, obviously we're at a range where it's not really going to kill anymore. It definitely would have killed pre-season of the Worthy, but now we definitely have to play a little closer and be a little smarter with our shot selection. But if I move up closer, aiming at the kneecap will ensure that all my bolts hit his body, which is going to help you get kills at range. Alright, so let's discuss some of the strategy and gameplay aspects that go into using a fusion rifle well and effectively. One of the first things you need to remember is that this gun's time to kill, although it's extremely high when the bolt comes off, it isn't actually that fast if you consider the charge time included in it. This makes you extremely vulnerable while you're out in the open and trying to charge it up for a kill. If you've ever used a fusion rifle, I'm sure there's been plenty of times where you are charging it up just to get sniped at the last second. It's extremely important to use cover to avoid being in the open as much as possible. For example, if Ghost was sniping at me right now through this doorway, and I came out and started to charge like this, he would no doubt have plenty of time to kill me before I could get the shot off. However, if you pre-charge behind a wall and then pop out at the last second to let the burst off, that's going to make you extremely effective and lower the chances of you dying significantly. It's also important to duck back into cover after you've gotten the shot off. If you get the shot and then you stand back out in the open, it leaves you exposed. So be sure to be dodging in and out of cover between shots. This dodging strategy is also key to countering and playing against other fusion rifle players. Lots of people love to say that fusion rifles are overpowered and can't be countered, but really all you need is a little bit of cover. For example, right here, if Ghost is pushing me with his air intel, I can poke at him while he's charging up, dodge behind the wall, and then poke back out after his burst goes off. As you can see, I was able to avoid all of his shots while poking at him because he was in the open. Had he been behind cover, I wouldn't have been able to spray him between shots. This makes all the difference when using or playing against a fusion rifle. Okay, so now that we've gone through a lot of the strategy and the tips behind using a fusion rifle and how to play with one, I want to walk you through a couple of clips I have from trials that I think really demonstrate these and further promote how powerful a fusion rifle can be in the right situations. So let's watch this first clip.
Guardian down.
How did I not kill that guy? Alright, so there's a lot of good takeaways from here. First off, you could see that I'm laning over here on the left side with this, and I had to back up a little bit, and when I poke back out, I see that I'm being pushed now, right? So immediately, my first thought is going to be to back up. Fusion rifles are not meant for super close range. If he is a shotgun, he's going to easily be able to kill me before I can get a fusion rifle burst off on him. So you see, immediately, I back up and pre-charge. You can see I'm pre-charging, assuming that he's going to come around the corner. Unfortunately, he came around at a much further range than I thought, and he backed off of the push that he had originally intended. But had he have pushed me aggressively and come around that corner, I would have instantly killed him before he had a chance to do anything. If we keep going forward, you could see that he's charging up a Jotun coming around the corner as well. So I immediately duck into cover to try to avoid that shot. Then I push back in and see that he's rotated around to the left. I start charging immediately and get a shot off. I try to finish that off with my melee, but it does not connect. After checking my radar, I see that someone's coming around behind me, so I push to that. I pre-charge again while coming out of cover, and I'm able to get the quick kill. Then, immediately switching back, I start pre-charging again, anticipating another push from the other side, and it pays off. I get the instant kill the second he's exposed. Once again, I start pre-charging right away because I know that there's a third player, allowing me to get another shot off quickly before he can finish me off. As you can see, with pre-charging, you're able to get off a lot of kills quickly while being exposed for very little time. Here's another clip I want to look at that really demonstrates the power of fusion rifles at the mid-range play, as well as how powerful they can be to counter revives in Trials of Osiris. Let's take a look.
You are back in the fight.
Guardian down.
Masterful play, friend. I will gather the children.
So once again, you can see I was down here, and my partner Kendo manages to get a pickup here. He kills one as well while reviving, so I immediately push in to try and guard that res. I get a nade off, hit two of them. Kendo unfortunately dies, and I have to back out because of a reload. I know he's a shotgun, so I immediately back up and push away from him so he's not able to kill me with the shotgun, and manage to get the kill off with my Suros. I switch to the fusion rifle knowing that they're going to be going for a revive, so I need a quick kill. I pre-charge it immediately and push out while he's spawning, and the Errantil is able to knock off both his shield and all of his health for the kill. I dodge back out a little bit, but start pre-charging again immediately. As you can see here again, I aim directly for his feet and let the burst off right on his feet so that it goes up his entire body as he falls into the bullets. This was able to help me secure the win for my team, and probably would not have been possible with a shotgun or a sniper due to the rapid situation or the need to push in on top of them while I was at such low health. Yeah guys, so thanks for watching. Be sure to drop a like if this helped you out or if you learned anything. If you guys have any more questions, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And if you have any more questions regarding fusion rifles or anything like that, just let us know in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. We also have a Discord community called 410 Gaming Community Channel. The link for that is in the description. We'd love to have you over there. Lots of great people, about 60 or 70 of us right now. And you can get lots of great info there, ask more questions there, and hang out. And if you're looking for people to play Trials with or just play Destiny in general with, we got a lot of great people over there, so be sure to stop in, and we'd love to have you guys. Thanks again. Subscribe for more. We're going to be trying to do more videos like this, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.